what are date nights?
So long ago he forgot.
I always think that dating doesn't have to be expensive for it to
Right.
be fun.
Oh, but it's a very wild thought if the significant other finds out that I'm a $500 girl to you.
This is how we can't help it because we are rich and handsome.
Hey, let's go! So speaking about emotions and of course like social security, we move on to my favorite topic. We're going to talk about this wrench that you get thrown once you realize, hey, I'm a dude and there are girls. And then now your financial plan starts to shake because you need to plan for dating, right? So, right, this is the interesting thing that I want to ask because dating is not like past a life season that it doesn't occur anymore. You continue to date your wife. If not, the marriage might get stale and stuff like that. So it keeps going. The problem is then that scale changes and then the price changes. Haha, high inflation, thanks. Then now we have this problem where we plan for everything, right? Suddenly you got one addition. Where this block go? How much do I plan for it? So my question is, back when we were all single, did we intentionally plan like a small subset of money that this is my dating fund?
What are date nights? It's like, okay, I can go first because that's probably like many years ago. I don't
So long
really
ago
know
he
how to
forgot.
put it into it,
Data
but
processing.
I think as a young dude, probably didn't think of like having a specific fund for dating. Right? I think at that... Okay, so a little bit of background. So because I dated my wife for 10 years before we got married. So it was quite a long process. We somehow managed to find joy in like cheaper alternatives.
Right, okay.
Right? Like, I mean, we are very happy with like peanut butter waffles, bubble tea and all, right? So, I don't know, maybe when I was in that already, I wasn't mature financially to like have a budget lah.
Right.
But somehow it worked out, I guess, because yeah, I mean, I always think that dating doesn't have to be expensive for it to be fun lah.
Right.
Right. So in fact, if it's always easier to like impress a girl when you have more cash.
Right.
But when you limit yourself intentionally or whatsoever for whatever reason, then the creativity will flow. You think about more ways on how to make it more meaningful.
Fair.
And yeah, I'm probably not. Maybe also because I'm not the most romantic. But yeah. Yeah, but I think we can not everything have to be like budgeted for. You can make do with like what you have as well.
Even for special occasions? Like birthday, Valentine, or if you're like into Korean subculture, the 100 days, all these kind of things that, that if you don't do right, then okay lah. If you think that you get understanding significant other, good for you. But if not right, suddenly you just go back home, then the bin cao cao, you like what happened? You also don't know. Then she like, oh, you miss like Chinese Valentine's Day. I'm like, what are you talking about? Right? So all these kind of things don't need to budget one, man, because it would be like milestone events that society says you should spend more. Right? You don't need to, but also, I don't know, if you want to do something nice, there will come a point of time where you're required to input more money than you usually do into your relationships for whatever reason. So then where does this money come from? Do you not plan for it? Like even in the beginning? Because you seem to be like the person who has like figured it out, like your money plan from quite a young age. So was the I got a girlfriend before the planning, or was it after? Oh, okay.
Yes. So that's the exact. Yeah, that's
You were
why I think
17,
maybe
right,
my-
bro?
I was
17, 18.
17 plus 18.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
The
But
first
I guess I'm blessed. It just happened that we have certain frequency on how things should be spent on, what are the priorities at different stages that click lah, that there was a light lah. So I didn't have like that stressful moment. But answering your question, yes, I think if it's a special occasion, then you don't go and bring them to kopitiam.
Yeah,
or,
correct.
Right?
With you being a person that has a clear structural system, where does the anniversary money come from?
You mean like now?
Yeah. Is that like a is that like a mandatory, like included in my bills kind of situation?
Joint account.
Right. Does it come from the joint account, or does it come from like my leisure? That this is a gift from me to you? Because it'd be very strange, like what Cheok said. If like you buy a necklace, then the Cartier comes from freaking joint account, and 你自己买一半 you better like it. It's strange also.
Yeah.
So usually where does that bit come from?
Okay, I mean, firstly, thanks that I gave you the impression that I have it all figured out. Actually, yeah, I mean, we're all still learning, right? Okay, specifically for like travel trips or even like date nights and all. I mean, I have my own funds that I always try to save up for better occasions. Not so much of like specific like amount lah.
Right.
But because like I was sharing, right, my percentage of savings or investments, it's always that same amount.
Right.
And I do pay myself like income. And that's fixed as well.
Right.
So every month should have some overflow lah.
Right.
And then that overflow is it's like a pocket of money that I think I can take in for a bit of fun. A bit of like, you know, something that makes me as a family happy, or just myself. Right. Like I said, I have certain toys or like gadgets that I like. I like cameras and stuff. So like if that I see that okay, I can afford from that pocket, then actually I would just draw from that lor. It won't be like it won't be like everything I have to plan for something.
Right.
There will be some spare funds that
but
it's really free for all lah.
It's personal leisure lah, essentially. That's where it comes from.
For all my for my Pokemon cards. Or for my child's Pokemon.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Then Joe, how does that work for you?
I think the premise is that dating is expensive.
No, dating costs money. I'm not saying it's expensive. It's the same as like I can budget for everyday I eat chicken rice. Chicken rice not expensive, right? But I still have to budget for it. Money comes from somewhere.
Yeah,
you can go.
So I kind of give a counterpoint to Josh because I'm at the opposite spectrum of. Like I think Josh and his wife are very frugal, peanut butter, and then
then we spend on other stuff. We appreciate other stuff.
Yeah, for me, I seem to attract so I only have two exes in my life.
Right.
Like, they go for quality things.
Okay, yeah, understandable.
Yeah, so I realized I do spend a lot on that. Even myself, right? Like I like to attend musicals, concerts, or go overseas kind of thing. So I realized ever since I got back on the dating bandwagon, it's still in the impressing someone stage.
Correct.
So I need to learn from my bros who are more responsible. I'm more lavish lah, for better or for worse. Right. Even last time with my ex-wife, like whack lah the house or the renovation, furnishing, and everything. So at this stage of my life, I'm learning I can be romantic but responsible at the same time. That's why I'm tracking. Actually, I'm not the Excel kind of person. I'm not. I need to know where's my money going.
Right. Okay.
So, but to answer your question, I do have a spending plan per month on how much I want to spend on dates lah. Because that's something that I value.
Correct.
Because I think by far the most important decision in life is who you spend the rest of your life with, right? Yeah. So I do create a fund because it's fun for me to meet new people. Right. Yeah. But since my last relationship, I haven't dated for about 1 year. So recently I'm back on the bandwagon. Right. So for all the ladies out there
let's go.
who like peanut butter and bubble tea. Yeah, no, just kidding. Yeah.
So how does your pyramid shift to include this? Because if let's say for me it's a pie chart, it's very simple. I just put in a slice of pie, everything just 1% lower. Then I get my dating fund already. But if you have a fundamental system that is fixed, which part of this does it go into? Because it's technically optional. It's not like you everyday confirm Monday, Friday got date.
Yeah.
So where does this money come from within your system?
Yeah, so the one that I watch is the 40% because that's a very variable one.
Right.
Yeah. So as long as my dating expenditure is within, for example, let's say a quarter of that, so that will be 10%.
Right.
Then I'm safe because the rest will still pay my bills, food, transport. But to share with you more specifically, at least in my personal life, it's just nice when I started to get back on the dating bandwagon was where I decided to let go of my stuff. The stuff that I'm paying every month. Right. So that frees up.
I see. Okay.
Yeah. That's for me. But for someone who doesn't have that kind of, I guess it's how you want to work around it.
Because to some people I know it's fundamental that they find a companion. So to them it is equally, it's like them paying bills but to the world, right? Yeah. So it's important that I need to get myself out there and eventually find somebody. So they find it like it's a non-negotiable amount of money that I need to be willing to spend. And it's a very interesting mindset that my friend told me. If I don't set aside that money to spend, I'm never going out. I'll always be this cheaper boyfriend.
Oh.
Right? Because if I don't set the money right, means I cannot afford to go on dates, ma. So every time I swipe the Tinder, the girl say go out, right? Then I tell them, hey, we go Kofu. Harvest ma. So that's why he's intentionally setting it out, right? So that he's like, okay, I have this money, I should spend it. So next time I go on a date, right, this is my budget, I go and do. So that at least if I do it often enough, it becomes a habit, it becomes part of me. It's a very interesting thing that I also subscribe to, but we'll talk more about that later. John, so do you have a dating budget?
Yeah, I think to kind of start off, if you have a very strong monthly surplus, right, that already gives you a lot of space to do whatever you
Are you
want.
talking for yourself?
Maybe.
Flex.
For all the single ladies out there, no need peanut butter. Bubble tea.
Oh my god, I love kopitiam, by the way. Okay, but
Sure.
okay. To create more structure, right? Because I'm actually the Excel guy, right? We can do this thing called a generosity fund,
Right.
which is a fixed amount every month. And as a single currently, I use that on my friends and family. So I actually do take them out to nice places, spend time with them. So eventually, when the girl comes in, right, this fund can be shifted to this dating partner,
Okay.
right? And you can definitely use it from there. So I don't think you have to wait till you're dating per se to have a fund for it. You actually should be spending on people that are close, your loved ones, bring them out for a nice meal, and that's how you upkeep that lifestyle where you're actually still strengthening your social circles.
Right.
You're also allowing people to spend time with you. I think that's a very healthy place to be in, rather than wait till I'm dating someone that I have this money for you. I think by then maybe it's like a bit late for spending that amount. Yeah.
The thing about dating, I feel, is that you're gonna meet a lot of different people who's gonna bring you out of places that you don't like budget for. Right, because you like to date in Kofu doesn't mean the girl like. What if they want to go altitude, then you also bo pian, you LL lor. But you cannot pay for it. Then you look like a very close person that is not putting yourself out there to meet new people who might be the one you don't know, because they just choose to present that one weird factor first.
Yeah.
Maybe they're just testing you to see whether you can accept them if they are a worm. Once you overcome this hurdle, actually this person also Kofu one, then dating in Singapore is not expensive in the way you expect it to be. What I'm giving away month to month to ensure I'm ready for a relationship seems like a very correct idea. But if you pitch it to any guy out there, bro, do you have a girlfriend fund? Who's gonna tell you yes? Yeah. Right? So what is the best way for us to, let's say, okay, this person brand new, okay, he wants to start a relationship, want to go out for, looking for a person that potentially might be good, but not still very rich, not still very handsome. We're gonna have to try a few times before we're gonna get the one, right? So what's the game plan here of how much I should set aside? Because now, right, the current plan that I get from you guys is that I have some overflow cash, right? I don't have a spending plan. So how do I help this guy budget to a point that he can confidently go to a girl and be like, okay, I want to take you out. She goes wherever, then we can go. Yeah.
This is how we can't help it because we are rich and handsome.
Hey, let's go!
Don't understand, cannot relate. Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Okay lah, but once we were not
can say this.
once we were not rich, but still handsome, so a bit tough.
Okay lah, you give me half of the
Once
stress.
we were not rich and once we were not handsome.
I think we just let Joel speak.
You go ahead, bro.
Okay, I think it comes back to emotional versus logical figure. And this is quite useful because each guy in our case, they have an emotional range that they're willing to, like, if your monthly surplus for this girl is $200, to ask you to set aside $300, $400 is just beyond your emotional capacity, and it's not gonna last. Right. So I will ask them, okay, minimally how much you will need for a date, right, on a regular basis, and what's the maximum you're willing to set aside for this girl. And we know, right, if constantly he's going out on a date and the girl is like constantly pushing that boundary,
Right.
I think that should send a red flag to him, like, okay, maybe this might not work out. Right, so having that emotional range of what you're comfortable with will be a good way to gauge whether you have sufficient in the first place and whether it's sustainable. I think that's a good way to go about it. Yeah.
Oh, but it's a very wild thought if the significant other finds out that I'm a $500 girl to you.
Okay, actually, that is why it's really hard to put down a figure. Okay, I would say that someone who is ready to date probably will have certain sense of how his finances is lah.
Okay.
Right, so I'm not sure, I mean, this is the first time I'm like saying this or thinking about this, right? But if they do have a leisure fund, I do think that dating should be from that fund.
Right.
Because actually it's part of having fun when you are,
Right.
meeting different ones, or you are going on a nice meal.
Yeah.
So if you don't have that leisure fun,
Right.
maybe it's time to build that first before you try to go on dates.
Okay.
And yeah, I mean, that percentage of half, 3/4, it depends on how often you date.
Right.
Yeah, if not, it's like really going to be...
It just comes from
there's
anywhere. It can be anything.
Yeah,
Correct.
it has to come from somewhere.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
here's
it's
my
more-
proposition, right? So when you're starting to find a serious girlfriend, dating can come from leisure. That makes sense, right? You're just getting social. But once it becomes like a steady relationship, when does it transition to be this amount of money then goes into establishing my future spouse? To then lead to I need to buy a house, I need to prepare for marriage, the honeymoon. That month she shifts in your planning ma. But
Yeah,
when
yeah.
does that happen? When like you ask the parents, then the parents say okay. Like when you get engaged, then you start to shift her away, or is she still going to stay in your leisure fund until like okay, we need to get the house? Or
She sounds like an object.
correct, that's right. Because now right,
She's
the
in my
way
leisure
we work, the thing is that there is no way to escape how this entire system works. I need to pay for the dates, or we share, and my split of it needs to come from somewhere. She has a value, ma.
Yeah.
Right. Unfortunately, she has a value.
Yeah,
The value changes significantly as you progress through life. Because you starting date, okay now you can eat kofu, but you eat kofu the whole year, right? By the time she's 60, she will niao until your ears fall off. Right? Unless she's a big kofu fan. But that being said, when that money changes, is it based on time or is it based on how much it costs?
Yeah. I think it varies. For me personally, before the girl comes in the picture, like house, wedding, all this is like I feel it's my responsibility.
Right.
So I've already set aside for
Correct.
it. Right. But if let's say they're in a place where they haven't set aside enough for it, I would think, if the dates are going well, they have a good sense of the emotional range that they're okay with, they should definitely start setting aside, whether it's from their personal leisure, right? So now I recognize, I'm getting serious, right? I cannot have the same kind of fun anymore, lah. I have to, some things have to go also. So then that's when I start shifting some of these funds to my house fund, right, or my wedding fund, right? I think then that provides sufficient down the road. Yeah.
And then there's this very interesting question and controversial probably as well, which is should men pay for everything? Because you see, my brother John already, he set aside the wedding and the house on his own. I want to marry you.
All the single ladies, all the single
Now this LGBT very. That means a girl can just walk in and she don't.
Yeah,
have to,
she's paid for all that's it.
Because we had this discussion just recently as well, like should men pay for dates? Should men pay for everything? And I think we, or especially I, still feel, I want to be in a position that I am able to pay for everything.
Correct.
But also because I come from a psychological background, like that was my major actually, university. So it talks about, especially with close friends or family members or your partner, there's the calculativeness dwindles down, means she will start to contribute as well.
Whoever comes out with the idea should pay for it. That's how I think it should operate. Simply because
Like the idea for the date.
if I want to go to a museum, then I will pay for both of our tickets and then we go to the museum. So far it has worked for me, and I think that then it becomes a situation where I have a goal to set for my how much I save. It works within my system where it is not like my leisure fund is variable. It means that okay, this month I know this show is coming. I want to go and watch this show. It costs me $400. That's what I'm saving out of it. It's very tangible, ma. But then what I'm saying to the person is not you're not worth $400. What I'm saying to the person is you're worth me planning for us going to watch this movie monthly. Logically in my mind, it doesn't feel as painful as previous. Because previously when I was doing this, I was like, okay, I spend my variable fund on dates. Then sometimes it's a good time, but when you look back in the thing, you're like, this girlfriend this month cost $600-$700.
Yeah.
The costing, that's right. Then you're just like, that's not very healthy for the relationship, no? To put a price tag on a person. Right, so the brilliance of that psychologically is also then that every time you budget for a thing, you take the person out. The person also like I don't want to think about it this way, but it's exactly like John, you come in, you just get paid for everything. You just come in and enjoy only. It's a nice feeling to give to the person. We need to be frank with ourselves that dating costs some money and we should budget for it. But now my question is, do you have a value of what girl is worth dating? So if she is above 10% of my income, I either too poor or she's too expensive. Or it's just like, nah bruh, it's okay. The quality of the girl, SSR rank, I don't care. Even if it costs me 50%, I can see where it's going. Done deal. 50% go.
Great question. I think for myself, this person should really align in terms of value system. So the value system directly affects your financial system.
Right.
So I can go with someone who loves to enjoy life, who loves the finer things, go out spontaneous. But they should also be able to take the other end of the spectrum.
Right.
Personally, I've been to third world countries, been there down in the dumps, or situations where people are living on the streets under tents and everything. And I've seen poverty as poverty itself. I've seen certain levels of luxury, and I would want this person to be able to have that spectrum as well.
Right.
Emotional maturity and financial maturity, where we can go both ways. If we want to eat kofu, if we want to go kopitiam, we can do that.
Right.
If we want to go to a Michelin restaurant, we can do that as well.
Right.
But we know that this should not dictate our dating life or marriage life.
Okay.
Because we know how to appreciate when it's good, when it's not so good. I think that would be a deal breaker for me.
Correct. So here's my proposition. I'm not saying that she's going to eat Michelin star restaurants all the time. I'm saying that she's a good soul. She donates to the Shark Foundation, but it costs money. Is she too expensive for you now?
If she's dipping from her own account, no problem.
So she wants to share her passion with you, right? And then it's not say that this $700 go like to a bad cause, ma. She's doing good things. She's donating to the third world country that you visited, but it still costs you goddamn $700 a month. Right. So is there a value that we don't want to say out loud? Okay, we don't even say how much it costs for each person. Is there a value where you start to reconsider whether or not the person is worth it?
For me, there's no limit.
Right.
So you see how much I love the person.
Correct.
And for me, I'm a bit of a hopeless romantic.
Right.
That's why in the past I spent a bit too much. Yeah. But also for me, just from the nature of being self-employed, for me I tell myself, if I spend a lot on this person, then I just got to work harder and earn more.
Right.
Or for those who are employed, whether it's a side hustle or whatsoever, like to create more income. Yeah, but for me, I frankly don't have. That's why I'm saying I'm learning to be the responsible side, because I swing the other way.
Right.
No limit. If I show you my dating expenditure, also it's very.
Oh, I saw it.
Yeah. But it's the idea of imposing, right? So if they are imposing their own wishes on you, I think that is like a problem, right? Because I can agree that you want to give to the Shark Fund, you want to give how much, but if I don't really necessarily align with that and I don't want to, then you just respect that.
Right.
Same way if I care for the children in Africa or India and I want to give to them for a cause, World Foundation, whatever. But if you don't agree, I'm not going to force it down your throat. Right. So we must have that common understanding. Okay, there's a room where we don't do the same things.
Right.
Yeah, so I think that's the deal breaker.
If I really love the person, I'm willing to give all. Like, you never give all means you don't love me.
That's why studies have also shown that if you want to grow your wealth, actually it's much better to be married. Yeah. So we should get married or